stocks saw some profit taking this week. Back to you.
Thanks very much for that. That's a lot of small and mid-cap names there, but I just want to put out a few things. It is about large caps. I think one thing became absolutely clear once again as we finished up, that, the breakout which had happened last Tuesday was on the Nifty. The mid and the small cap parts of the market started correcting almost exactly on that day, and that fogged things up quite a bit. Is the overall market starting to top out like the broader market was? And, it basically threw things into a bit of confusion. But I think a little bit of that fog is clear as we end this week. And I think, the initiative is with large caps. That is very clear. I know, you always say it's not about large, you be market cap agnostic and you look at, it's all about stocks and what you really buy. But I think so we have been at a bit of an extreme level on an aggregate basis. So I don't think it's completely out of place to talk about, caps, large caps, mid caps, small caps in that particular sense. And as I said, large caps is perhaps most likely where the action is going to be. Two things: the dollar index, the DXY seems to be topping out. There are two things which have happened. One, there's a double top on the charts over the last 48 hours. And there is a bearish outside day which has been formed, and it looks like it's headed lower. Second, oil seems to be heading higher. Looks like, at least, again on the charts, it failed to break down below the $65 mark, which was basically the July lows, and it's traded well through the course of the last many trading sessions. So those are two things from a global macro perspective, which you may need to pay attention to. Aditya Naren is with us, Head of Research Institutional Equities at Edelweiss Securities. Aditya, thanks very much. Great to have you here. So, let's just put a bold number out there, Aditya. Is it 17,000 straight away? It'll help us anchor the rest of our chat. Is it 17,500 or is it lower? Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what is going to be straight away or the next week or the week after that. But I do believe that over a period of time, it will probably come off marginally. So, the formal number that we have out there, which is in our view pretty well thought out, is about 16,100 for June next year. So whether it comes off quickly or it stretches on the upside and then comes back, but our sense is it's going to get some sense of moderation from where we are at this point in time.
Aditya, hi, welcome to the show. What would that then mean for the broader markets? Because we saw a tad bit of an underperformance come in this week. But on a larger scale, if you are expecting moderation in the Nifty, what would be the percentage of moderation that we would see in the broader markets then?
I would tend to believe, without getting into this weekly kind of thing, but you've had actually a lot of expansion as far as the broader part of the market is concerned. And at this point in time, I don't think you're getting a commensurate speed as far as the breadth of the economic recovery is concerned, right? And in my view, that would tend to suggest that at the end of the day, if the market were to settle a little lower over the course of the next 6-9 months, the broader market might just come off a little bit. And that to me is just kind of trying to say the market should mirror the economy. And I do believe, while there are green shoots and there are some good numbers that are coming out, economic revival is not as broad-based. Or let's put it this way, the economic trajectory remains relatively narrow for the market to respond in such a broad manner.
Aditya, again, you said, fair value is 16,100, but I don't know if it'll stretch higher first and then correct or correct straight away. But for those who are holding stocks, what should they do? There are two stock choices. Just ride it out with the realization that there may be a 15-20% pullback. That's always a possibility. That's assuming that you don't believe there is any great crash or anything lined up. I don't think anyone believes that. Second is you take profits and then try to get into other things which are a little more reasonable valuation-wise, or buy the same thing lower, which is harder to do.
As I said initially, I think timing this thing either on a weekly basis or a 300-point level basis is beyond me, quite honestly. But what I would say is, by and large, you should tend to ride it out as long as you're generally positioned in areas where you think there is much more structural tailwind than necessarily cyclical pop. Because I think that's what provides you a greater hedge, that provides you sustainably greater business protection. And that's how I would tend to play it. That by and large, if you think you're positioned on the safer side in terms of the underlying business, then you should basically stay put. If you want to be very cute with your timing, or you have something very specific to buy either in terms of a stock or a different asset class, then you could switch a little bit at this point in time. But otherwise, as I said, timing it for marginal gains or losses is going to be difficult. I would not, in the normal course of things, go with a 15 to 20% kind of downside. If that were the case, I would suggest much more caution. I don't see that coming at this point in time because, you are seeing economic leads and lags. I think you'll probably see a little bit more lag than necessarily leads, but I don't see the market trajectory necessarily shaking off that dramatically. So again, if someone has the view that it could go off 15, 20%, then I would be taking a lot more off the table than I'm recommending at this point in time.
Okay, a little bit of caution coming in your voice, Aditya, but we're just going to come back to you in a minute. Let's talk about one index which really powered through, and it was the big winner this week, and that was the entire IT space. We have Reema joining in to tell us more about the movement. Reema.
Thanks so much for that. As you pointed out, a big week for IT companies, though there was no fundamental news backing the kind of up move, but we did have TCS, HCLTech, Wipro, Infosys all hitting life highs. The few trends that we did observe, one, it was the relatively cheaper stocks in the large cap space which actually outperformed. So something like a Tech Mahindra and HCLTech led the rally, and as you would see from the valuation table, that it is at a discount compared to larger companies like Infosys as well as TCS. Also, secondly, the mid-cap IT performance trailed the frontliners. So a Mindtree, Mphasis, Tata Elxsi, these stocks just moved up close to about 2%. The mid-cap stock, which was in the news in the IT pack, was Hinduja Global, and this is after the board approved the sale of its healthcare division to Barings PE for $1.2 billion.
Okay, not much news, but we did have the IT index gain further in today's trading session. Aditya, would you be a buyer, or do you think that the valuations are becoming a little punchy now?
Actually, we've been buyers on the IT space for the last year, and very aggressive buyers. And quite honestly, our view is that this is at least a 3 to 4 year cycle. When you have such strong business tailwind in a business where you're not taking risk in terms of capital or otherwise, I think this is something we are going to, in our view, we should ride for an extended period of time. I think additionally, in a market like the current one, which has actually moved up very aggressively, this is the kind of space that I think ends up being a little safer because you just have business tailwind. I know valuations aren't necessarily supportive, but with little capital risk, a tailwind that is 3 to 4 years running, a tailwind that's not dependent on a geography or a product, we would tend to be actually most comfortable and most bullish in this space.
Got that. The other one is pharma, but that was on the other side. The index was down 3% or so. There were some results disappointments, right, Ekta?
Absolutely, and all of them are screaming one issue, which is US pricing pressure, and we'll just get to that in a minute. But you had a lot of these stocks correct on a week-to-date basis on account of numbers. Strides down 9%, Lupin down 15%, Cadila corrected, Aurobindo was down around 15% as well. US price pressure weighed. We had Strides, which said that the companies witnessed aggressive double-digit price erosion. Lupin, sales were lower than estimates. Cadila, they expect low single-digit growth in the US going forward. Aurobindo, which says that price erosion was higher than normal in the US. Other concerns, Lupin is expecting margins of 16 to 17%. Street was anticipating 19% in FY22. Aurobindo, they've acquired a veterinary company, 51% stake, and the US FDA has also given around 7 observations to their Unit 1, which is an API facility. Separately, Sequent, it was down 11%. Margins were weak. During the closing of FY21, the management detected some revenue, certain instances which did not follow the accounting policy when it came to revenue and PBT. So there was some amount of restatement. They said it's not going to continue, but that really got the street worrying about Sequent Scientific as well. So it was peppered with earnings reaction and a lot more news. But Aditya, just on that, you mentioned IT is a 3 to 4 year story. It's not dependent on a particular geography. Do you think that that's exactly the opposite thesis which is probably playing out with pharmaceuticals now? That entire issue where US pricing pressure really re-rated valuations a few years ago, is that coming to haunt the sector back again?
I think to some extent, the immediate reaction that you're seeing is what you're talking about, which is basically once bitten, twice shy. That we've seen that cycle in the past. It was a hard cycle. And so any signs of that tending to repeat itself or get started is where people start getting very cautious. So quite honestly, we don't think it's going to be as dramatic a cycle. At the portfolio level, we've been running a neutral because, from a valuation perspective, there was probably a little bit of froth that came through. But I don't think it merits the kind of overreaction that you had at this point in time. It won't necessarily be such a deep cycle. But the reality is when you've had it almost across the board, I think there is going to be a greater level of wariness in the market. And so to that extent, at least for until you get some comfort over the next quarter or two, wherein these trends either taper off or they're very specific in terms of their impact, I suspect this sector is going to be a little bit on the back foot.
Let's talk about autos and start with four-wheelers first, auto ancillary companies. So we had the opportunity to speak with Rajiv Bajaj of Bajaj Auto. We had the Motherson management post the results. We also had Bharat Forge, all pointing to this chip shortage. Supply chain issues, shortage of containers, and what's it doing to shipping has been a big issue. Let's actually play out some of those sound bites, and then we'll get Aditya's views on it.
The shortage is only getting worse as of now. Up until July, we were in touch and go mode. And in September, things look really dismal. We may lose, about 50% of the volume that we would have otherwise liked to have produced.
May, we lost almost about 20-21 days. And in this quarter, you will have the August holidays in Europe and in US and all that. So those kind of local things might play out in this quarter also. But I think the second half might be much, much better.
Yeah, it's a pretty universal phenomena that there is a shortage of chips all over the world. But I think most OEMs are taking adequate steps to deal with it. Some are losing some amount of production, but I don't think that is causing a big loss in production.
So that's the three managements basically all echoing pretty much the same thing. Aditya, comment on this if you will, in terms of what your view is. And the second part, on Sunday we will have the Ola electric scooter, which is going to be launched. With a lot of fanfare. We'll get the pricing, I think, which is crucial. Many states offer subsidies for it. They've got very large capacities. So deliveries, etc., should not be a problem. And what will that mean for the two-wheeler space? It's not like Hero MotoCorp is at a new high or anything. So maybe some of it is in the price. But what is your sense?
So I think two parts. Specifically to the chip shortage, as a couple of them said, I think over a period of time that will ease off. Clearly, it's very pronounced at this point in time. I think the issue is that should not take away one's focus from the fact that demand X of that problem in the domestic market has been a little soft, right? And I think that is something that you need to watch more carefully. That might be a little bit more extended and a little bit more prolonged than what the market is factoring in. So I think, the chip element is a global phenomenon. It is going to play its natural course, and the Indian auto companies are the only ones suffering. But I would suspect keep an eye on demand, which I think will be a more dominant driver. It's a more discernible driver, one that one can make a stronger call on, and we've been cautious in that space rather than necessarily the chip space. But as I think Mr. Bajaj said, I think toward the end of the year it should start easing off. But keep an eye on demand. I think people will confabulate the reasons, but I think demand is a bigger challenge locally. Right?
Okay.
So that's one part. I think the second part is, it's going to be a little bit like of what you saw as far as the consumer tech is concerned. These EVs are here to stay, whether the product itself is right or whether the pricing itself is right, or, what is going to be its runway before it actually makes a mark in the market. I think all that can be debated, but I think you are progressively seeing that transition, whether it is in the purchases, whether it is in the government support that's coming through, and progressively, I think you'll see the economics tending to improve. So I think it is going to be a little bit of a showstopper. We should all look out for Sunday. I do believe it's going to necessitate investment from a lot of the other companies, and probably a little bit more aggressively than has been the case so far. And it could be a little bit of an overhang on stock. But it is a transition that is going to be made, and it's a question of how well the incumbents make that transition. That will really be the difference there.
Okay, all right, Aditya. That point is taken that maybe demand could be a bigger challenge when it comes to the auto space. And on that note, we're going to let you go and enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much for joining in and speaking with us and sharing your opinion on the markets and the week gone by. We'll take a short break now, but up next, we'll be talking technicals. Jay Bala of Cash the Chaos will be joining in with his opinion on what took place. Also, we'll get you some market opinion. We'll in fact leave you with some market opinion we got through the week.